Welcome back. The mining industry is hoping to raise the issue of jobs and skills policies with the government after figures showed unemployment amongst professionals in the Australian mining sector soaring to almost 11% from less than 2% just in the past year. It was a finding in research by the Australasian Institute of Mining and Metallurgy in a survey of their members. I'm joined by the CEO, Michael Catchpole. Michael Catchpole, great to have you on the program today. This rising unemployment amongst minerals professionals is what we're talking about. So these are skilled type of workers. Who are the kinds of people finding themselves out of work?
Well, the sort of people we're finding who are reporting unemployment or even underemployment include exploration geologists, mining engineers, metallurgical engineers, environmental scientists, the people who are absolutely key to finding the mines of the future, to developing them and to running existing mines. So these are professional people who form the core of our membership.
It's more of a sudden shift than you tend to normally expect, hasn't it?
It is. Our figures show that just in the 12 months from July last year to July this year, unemployment amongst our professional membership increased from around 1.7% to 10.9% in Australia. The increase in New Zealand was slightly lower, but still very significant. So for an Australasian body to see that amongst their professional membership is really quite unusual.
And so what's behind it?
There are a number of very complex factors, of course. I mean, there have been some very big changes in the industry itself globally, and particularly I think that we saw the impacts of reducing commodity prices in the latter stages of 2012, then coming into 2013. We saw some uncertainty around China's economic growth and the policies of the new leadership in China. We saw some of our traditional markets demand dropping, at least initially, for some of our key exports, particularly iron ore and coal. And of course we've seen the gold price come off very significantly. This has impacted all of our major mining companies to a greater or lesser extent. And of course they've put in place some quite major policies in terms of cost cutting, in terms of productivity improvements. And this has had a flow-through effect to all of the professionals who work in the industry and of course the wider employees right across the mining sector.
What I find so staggering about this is that it seems not so long ago we were terribly worried about drastically increasing and how we would increase the pool of skilled professionals in the mining space. And now we're talking about severe underemployment, severe unemployment. Have we been hit worse in Australia than the mining industries in other countries, noting that you've just said your membership is a global membership?
We're certainly talking to our kindred bodies in Canada, the United States, Southern Africa, and also in South America. We're certainly told that in South America the growth continues. Canada has been very hard hit, as Australia has, by the international, the global economic forces, and that's been reflected in employment in the mining sector. But you're quite right, it's the turnaround that really is of great concern. Only 15, 18 months ago, we and the major mining companies were struggling to find enough professionals to fill the roles that were available in some of the major growth areas that were occurring. And to see this turnaround and to see it grow from less than 2% to almost 11% in terms of unemployment really is quite alarming.
So what is the policy response that you want to see, or the conversation you think you need to have with government now?
Well, I think the conversation we have to have with government, state and federal are really around incentives for exploration. The new coalition government has indicated as part of its actual election policy that there will be some steps taken to reduce the anomalies in the tax treatment of investment for some junior explorers who are quite crucial to the mining sector, and that's certainly a very good first step. That's something that really has been on the books for 5 or 6 years. In fact, the Howard government considered these measures, didn't get around to implementing them. Labor back in 2007 promised some similar measures. They were never implemented, and of course we saw some quite different steps taken by the Rudd and Gillard Labor governments on taxation of the mining sector. But there are also many other areas that can assist mining exploration and development and responsible development of the mining industry, and they do include greater consistency across the various state jurisdictions around land access, land usage, environmental assessments and so on.
Michael Catchpole, thank you very much for joining us on the show today.
Thank you.